Hello guys, I trust you all doing fine. My name is Kofi Frederick, well known as a Supreme on this space. And in this tutorial, we're going to continue with our 3D test series. So with this particular tutorial, we're going to come up with this particular nice 3D test. Okay, so without further ado, let's get straight into it. So first of all, this was the color palette that helped me achieve this particular go. Okay, and you could see that it is more like different colors put together, and this color palette is called monochromatic. Okay, yeah, that is how we call it, that we call it monochromatic colors. All right, so let's head straight to our Pixellab, and then of course I achieved this with my smartphone. Okay, so I'm going to start from a blank page, and then moving forward, going to change the text. Okay, so what I used was huge. Okay, sorry for that error. Huge. So as I usually say, you are not restricted to the text you should use. Okay, and then the font I used was here. You can search that on the font, or even the font I'm going to give to you. I'm pretty sure that you're going to find it there. Then I'll make sure that it is positioned at center, and then I'll go to where you have curve. Okay, curve, and then I'll bend it 1 2 3. Okay, 15%, and then I'll go ahead and position it at center once again. So I'm going to make 2 copies of it. Okay, 1 2, then I'll hide it for the meantime. Okay, then I'll move back to this test again, and then go to color. Then of course we're going to use gradients. So I hope by now you all know how to come up with gradients. Okay, but then let me just do that with this particular peg. We're going to give it this particular, oh sorry, I didn't bring in my color palette, so let me just do that. Import. Let me quickly bring in the color palette. Okay, all right, so that is what sometimes it do happens. Okay, yeah, you just have to be more patient in whatever thing you are doing too. All right, so you pick that color, and this side you're going to pick this shade. Okay, then you move this one a bit forward, and then you move that this way, and I think this is cool. Moving on, we come to inner shadow. Okay, then we enable inner shadow, reduce the blur radius to 0, and offset x-axis by 2 and the y-axis by 3. Yeah, please, this is what you should do in your case. Okay, but in my case, I'm just going to give it more. All right, I want it to be something like this. Okay, this is not because this is because my Pixellab, it's because of my Pixellab. That is why I have increased it. Okay, yeah, but in yours, offset the x-axis by 2 and the y-axis by 3. I think even this one is too much. I may come back and do the correction. So we're going to give it a color, so we tap on the plus sign, and we're going to choose this shade of yellow, but then we're going to move it from this first slider to the pale part. Okay, then we tap on OK, then we go to stroke, then we give it a stroke. The stroke width, I'm going to make it something like 6 is okay. Let me make it 7. Okay, in your case you leave it at 4. Okay, in your case you leave it at 4. Then the color, I'll tap on the plus, and then come to this side and give it this particular color. Okay, all right, so this one is okay for me now. So moving on, I'm just going to enable one of the 3D tests. Okay, Then I'll bring it right on top this way and then move it to back. I'll go ahead and change the color. Okay, and I'm going to select this particular color here. Then I'm going to head to stroke, then enable the stroke. The stroke weight, I'm going to increase it considerably. Okay, let me leave it at somewhere here. Then give it a color of this same color, the same color you choose for the test. Okay, you give it that same color. Then we tap on the check mark. Let me just position it properly at center and see the effect. Okay, so let me add more stroke to it. Okay, let me leave it at 18 and now check the effect. All right, so this is okay. So once we are through with it, we now go to 3D and enable 3D for that. Okay, we enable 3D for that. We're going to leave the depth at 7, and then we're going to reduce the darken to 0. Then we're going to turn off the simulate lightening. Okay, then we are okay with that. So we can now move ahead and bring in the last test. Okay, we will position it at center this way and move it to back. We're going to change the color. The color is already white, so we're going to maintain it. Then we come to stroke, enable stroke for that, and then increase the stroke weight to somewhere 30. Then we check it. Okay, we're going to change the color to white, sorry for that, and then we check it. So let me position it at center. It's very important to remember to position it at center. Okay, yeah, it's very important. Then we now come to 3D, and then we enable the 3D. The depth, we're going to increase it to somewhere 14 is okay for me. Then we darken it. Okay, this is like using the ash color on the color palette. Okay, so you can either use the ash color for the stroke, or you can go ahead and use the darken to achieve the same effect. Then rotation in x-axis, we're going to rotate it this way. 10 is okay. Okay, 10 is okay. Then the simulate lightning, we disable it. Okay, all right, then we move ahead and then check it. Okay, so guys, we are gradually heading towards the magic. Okay, so we will now come to where we have the position. Okay, this position too, but let me first make sure that it has center. It's very important. Then I'll now come to position. Then in your case, the move by will be at 6 pixels, so you just come down and move it once. Okay, and then you are going to achieve something like this. Let me try moving it again. This is too much, so 1 is okay when you are moving it by 6 pixels. Then we can now check this. We will now come to shadow, enable shadow, reduce the opacity of the shadow to 70, the blur radius to somewhere 6, and then we can now offset it in the x-axis 1 2, and then in the y-axis 1 2 3. All right, so guys, this was how this particular 3D test was achieved, as simple as you can see. Okay, so you can now change the color, and then boom, we are through. All right guys, this was how this particular 3D test was achieved. Hope that you try it with other color palettes, and I know that everything is going to work for you. Once again, my name is Kofi Frederick, well known as a Supreme on this space. Thank you for following me through. See you in the next tutorial.